Awesome. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking for this week. So 2.5 A and B are done. Good. What was it? Vertex formula stuff is all good. I think I'm happy with where we're at. I went through and I did grade all of those ones that did go up this weekend, but there's still a few that are missing. So if your Infinite Campus says that I don't have something and you haven't done it, then please get it done, because that missing is killing a lot of our grades big time. If it says missing but it is done, then let me know, because I want to make sure that I update it. I think I'm all caught up though, so I think we should be good. I don't think there's anything that I have marked as missing that's actually been submitted. Now maybe it's just sitting in your notebook somewhere. That's what I did in high school. I forgot to submit stuff, and that's why my grades suffered sometimes. So let me know if that's the case too. Okay, so this week. So this is one of the only 2 weeks, cohort A, you guys at home, that you actually have to come in on Friday. Because we have Monday off. So cohort A, you guys at home right now, you will be in this week, tomorrow and Friday. That means that you guys, cohort B, you guys still have to log on Friday for attendance. Okay, well, I'll tell you what that means for you guys once we get there. Okay, so today we did 2.3 stuff, we did 2.5 stuff. Now we're going to wrap up the last section, chapter 2, 2.6, which is quadratic formula, and we're going to do that today and tomorrow. Today is going to be, we're going to call it quiz 2.6a, but we're going to do it together. We're going to do it all together. Everybody's going to get a perfect score on it as long as you do. Okay, and you just have to upload it. It's already up on Canvas for you guys to upload it. Tomorrow, so you cohort B folks, you will at home do quiz 2.6b for correctness. Okay, quadratic formula, same exact kinds of questions in the same order with the same kind of results, just different numbers. Cohort A, you guys will come in and we'll do that in class. But you'll have time to actually start it today if you want. Okay. Today is just effort completion, which will be really easy because we're going to do all 3 problems. There's only 3 of them. We're going to do all 3 problems all together, all at once. You'll just write them down, take a picture, put it up on Canvas. So cohort A folks, definitely stick around and just knock it out with us, because then it'll be done. And then cohort B guys, you guys, when we go home for tomorrow, quiz 2.6b will be available for you to do whenever, so you do not have to do it during class time. You just have to log in at the beginning of class, see me, see that I'm recording, and then you are free to go. Okay. But cohort A folks, you guys want to stick around because we're going to do these 3 problems together. And then we'll be done. Chapter 2 will be a wrap. And so what do we need to do to wrap up the chapter? That's what we're doing. That's what these couple of weeks have really been. We got to take a test now. So I'm going to say this once and only once. Your chapter 2 test will take 2 days. Thursday this week and Friday this week. Okay, you're going to take your chapter 2 tests separately. There's going to be an at-home section and an in-class section. Okay, so you guys sitting in front of me, cohort B, you will take your in-class portion on Thursday and your at-home portion on Friday. Okay, you're going to get an email first thing Friday morning. Link to a Google form. You just click that Google form and work your way through it. I will tell you exactly what things are going to look like tonight. I want to figure out what the test is going to look like, the at-home portion versus the in-class portion. What I'm thinking is keeping it relatively short for both of them. Okay? Don't have to expect to spend an hour both days doing this. Okay, I don't want to do that. The other thing about this test coming up Thursday, Friday is that you can use your notes. Absolutely. Your best resources are all of these quizzes. Quiz 2.3 A and B, 2.5 A and B, and today and tomorrow, 0.6 A and B. By far your best resource. However, on your in-class day, so cohort B, you guys Thursday, cohort A at home, you guys on Friday, if you choose to take your in-class portion without notes, like if you study for a math test and come prepared for your in-class portion, and you do it from here, I will give you bonus points with it. Okay, right away. Now, you will have the choice to say, man, those, and I'm just picking a number, those 5 bonus points are not enough to make up the difference between me using my notes. Halfway through the test, you can pull out your notes and let me know, and I will say, sounds good, I'll just mark your test to know that you use your notes. Okay? So you can get 100 and still use your notes. You can get more than 100 if you choose notes for the in-class portion. Does that make sense? You guys clear on what's happening these next 4 days? Quiz 2.6a right now. 2.6b tomorrow. Chapter 2 test part 1, Chapter 2 test part 2, Thursday, Friday. Okay, that means next week, Chapter 3 begins nice and fresh. Questions at home? All good? Tonight, I will write it up on Canvas. I'm going to make like a Chapter 2 test assignment so you know exactly what every portion is going to look like. Here's what your in-class portion looks like. Here's the kind of questions you should expect. Here's the kind of the format. Here's how long I think it's going to take, etc., etc. And the same thing, of course, for the other sections as well. Let's do it. Quiz 2.6a. 24 points for effort and completion. And guess what? We are going to effort and complete it right now. Again, all you have to do is take out something you write with, something to write on, and write down what we do. I want this to kind of serve as practice for you, working through the quadratic formula. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the 2 versions. Go ahead. There's the one that I like. Black marker is a little faded. I'm going to try something maybe that'll show up a little better. Or there's this version, one big fraction. I don't care which one you do. I'm always going to do the top one because sometimes I can simplify one part of the fraction but not the other. And I like to make things simple. Smaller numbers and smaller mistakes. And so here's the thing. When you get to your in-class portion, that will not be sitting on the test waiting for you, right? So if you're going to go without your notes, you have to know it. If you're going to go with your notes, then here it is, sitting on this quiz, waiting for you, because if you're not writing down the only thing you need to get these questions right, you're probably not going to get them. Okay, again, pick whichever one you want. I'm always going to do the top. I understand it better. I can simplify it faster. I feel better about working through it. And if folks at home, give me a shout if you need me to think. If you have any questions, keep seeing me. Of course, you guys are shooting. And we're going to do 3 problems, starting with number 1. And what I hope today feels like for you is a review of something that you probably remember pretty well. Now, maybe you don't have the formula memorized, but I bet once the numbers go in, you'll feel pretty good about why we simplify the way we do. And if you don't, you got to speak up so I can help you. But if you're feeling really good about it, this is like really close, like second to factoring for me. Like factoring is the easiest one because it doesn't take as much work. It takes a little bit more thinking, but this is not far behind. If you know the formula and can plug the numbers in, it does it all. So let's do it. Number 1, we're going to find the x-intercepts of some function, and I picked a nice one. And what I mean by nice is 2 things. Number 1, there's positive everywhere, so I don't have to worry too much about dealing with negatives unless I have to. Number 2, this is actually factorable from the beginning. The numbers that add to 6 and multiply to 8, there's an answer to that. Well, let's say we forgot. But even if you didn't, this is always going to work. Now, write down your A equals B equals C equals if you like to. A is that number in front of x squared, which is 1. B is 6. C is 8. I don't know why there's a big space between A and B. It's bothering me. A is 1. If you like to. Again, that's totally optional, but it helps you kind of avoid mistakes in case they happen. Or I can kind of track mistakes if you did screw up. Okay, now it's up to you. Do you really need to like write the formula again as part of your work? Maybe you'd like to, maybe you don't. That's okay. For me, if it's already sitting here, I feel really good about just jumping in and dropping in those numbers in each of those spots. Negative b, 2a, b squared. Like I'm just gonna like drop in all my numbers. So b was 6. Okay, so negative b, negative 6. Okay, bottom of that fraction, 2 times whatever a is. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you where this whole thing comes from. Algebra. Plus or minus, in between for me, I like separate fractions. Now, big, long square root. We got a bunch of stuff we got to fit underneath it. And it is a fraction, so fraction bar just as well. And if you have to extend your fraction or your square root further because you got more numbers than you realized, then that's okay. Just extend it out. Make sure it goes as far as it can. All right, b squared. Okay, b is 6. So I'll drop the 6 in there. And I'm going to use parentheses. I don't really have to, but like if it was negative, I definitely have to. The parentheses are always a good idea if you have something attached to it. Okay, minus 4 times a is going to go there times c. Oh, my square root's going to go just a little bit further. Stretch it out, stretch it out. And I'll bring the fraction bar just as long. A is 1. And then same denominator, of course. Because I could have made one fraction. I just think it would be easier. One time. Okay. Now, well, top left is just negative 6. Nothing I can do there. I just like all 4 sections, like top, bottom, and bottom. I'm just going to write them as best I can. Then I'll divide. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay. Easy. Now, maybe you see that right away and you call that negative 3. That's okay. Like, you can work faster than this. You can work slower than this. I definitely want to see that very first step where the numbers go. Okay, up top, let's see what happens under that square root. Here's where you have some freedom to write more or less depending on how quickly you want to work. What I wouldn't do is type the square root in my calculator, maybe just all of the stuff that's underneath. If you want. Or you can go slowly. 6 squared. What's 6 squared? 36, okay? Minus a bunch of positive stuff, so it's going to stay negative. And when you're multiplying a bunch of things together, you just do 2 at a time, left to right. 4 times 1, still 4. Okay, so 4 times 8, 32. So that's what's happening underneath. Okay, let's make things a little simpler as we can. And maybe you don't write them separately like that. Like maybe you just do 36 minus 32 right away. Maybe you just say, you know what? I know what 36 minus 32 is. Or maybe I just type this whole thing in my calculator all at once. That's 4. And so if you wrote the 36 minus 32, like you could maybe scoot down to the next line and write it just like this. Maybe go ahead and erase the 36 minus 32. I just like to see what's happening underneath sometimes. But you can work, like I said, as quickly or as slowly as you want. Well, again, I'm going to work super slow here. What is the square root of 4? Two. Exactly. Like, not a fraction, not a decimal that goes on forever. The square root of 4 is perfect. Right? It is 2. So you can drop the square root and write exactly what that number is. Now, if that was like the square root of 5, square root of 6, square root of 7, square root of 8, square root of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, right? Skipping some of those perfect squares along the way, then we just have to leave it. And you'll see that with number 2 and number 3. It's not going to work out nicely, but if it does, you end up with this perfect square root. Keep going. And make it as simple as you possibly can. Now, you can keep going down. I'm just going to go across just so we have some more space. I don't want to work too low, get the books in the way. I'm going to work across now and simplify each of these fractions. Now, I probably could have called this negative 3 here or here. That's fine. Just simplify as you go. Negative 6 divided by 2. Simplify as much as you want, as quickly as you'd like. I've got to see the first step. I want to see some fractions, and then we'll just simplify as much as we can. Like negative 6 divided by 2, negative 3. Okay. 2 divided by 2, 1. Now, we still have the plus or minus in between. Whether the square root is still there or not, it's still part of our setup. Because what we have are 2 possible answers, right? And with a question like this one, you can look at those 2 possibilities separately. -3 plus 1 and -3 minus 1. That's what plus or minus means. Do it separately and see what you get. Now, the only time this is really worth it is this. Square root of 4, perfect. Square root of 9, perfect. Square root of 25, perfect. I can keep going. If this was something else that didn't work out, then I would just, -3 plus or minus whatever, and I'd be done. But -3 plus 1 is -2. -3 minus 1, -4. And however you want to show that, like, plus or minus really does mean, okay, plus the first time and then minus the second time. Let's see. But I kind of like showing those arrows, kind of breaking one setup into 2. Negative. Here's the first one. That doesn't happen all that often, right? Where you actually end up with a perfect square under that square root. Okay. 2 and 3 will show you what happened. We're just going to work with it. But if it does, sweet, we get really nice answers. Good. Questions? Moving on. Sweet, let's do it. Watch out. Number 2. What did I want? Let's get some negatives in there. G of x. Let's keep it at x squared for now, but let's go minus 2x minus 5. Definitely got some answers, but it's not factorable. So I don't expect the square root to be perfect, but maybe we can at least make it a little simpler. We'll see how it goes. But it's the same formula every time, which is why we're only going to do 3 of these and not 10 of them, because it gets redundant over and over and over again. If you like to write down your A's, your B's, your C's, go for it. And folks at home, all this stuff is on Canvas. You guys can open it up, check out the same 3 problems. And then in we go. X equals. Again, I'm going to do the top one with the negative b and 2a separately. So it's all right, negative b. It's already negative. So what should we do? Yeah, make the switch. Good. Positive 2. And look, it's not a coincidence that that's like the vertex thing, right? Negative b over 2a. That's not a coincidence. That's it. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you why. 2 times 1 on the bottom.
And Mr. Rosie.
Long square root.
And Mr. Rosie.
Yeah.
Could you just move like the camera a little bit towards like my left? Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
You got it. All right, on the inside goes b squared. Well, now I definitely need the parentheses because b is negative. The square in it will make it positive. I just want to make sure that the calculator does that right. All right, minus 4 times a, so that's 1 times c, that's -5. Almost long enough with the square root, that's pretty close. And then same denominator, of course, always will be. From one piece to the other. 2 times 1. All right, so help me out. Take a look at that first part of that fraction. What would you write in that next line underneath for that first fraction that doesn't have the square root? What is your next line of work look like? And where are you comfortable? I think you got some choices. What do you think? You want to leave it as a fraction and just make the bottom simpler? I'm cool with that. Like taking our time and just saying, okay, that's just 2 over 2. Maybe you see that right away and just call it 1. That's okay. We'll take our time now. I like that. All right, under the square root. Let's see. Well, -2 times itself. Negative times a negative back to positive, so 4. And then look, so 4, I'll write that. And then negative, positive, positive, negative again. So a negative and a negative are going to make that positive. Again, you don't have to do this step by step like this. It might be faster if we just put it all together. 4, and watch this, plus whatever 4 times 1 times 5 is. 4 times 5, 20. Okay, 4 plus 20. 20. Seriously, I find it really easy to just jump in my calculator and type all that stuff in underneath the square root without the actual square root part in the calculator yet. Just negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 5. Enter, spits out 24 right there. 2 times 1 is 2. And so, I mean, 2 over 2 is just 1. All right, that's cool, that works. But what about the square root of 24? Is that nice? Is that one of our perfect squares? No. So what's a great way to write the square root of 24? What's a really nice way to write a square root that we know has some long decimal answer that we don't want to use?
Just keep it.
Yeah, just leave it exactly as it is, square root of 24 over 2. Done. I like that. That's perfect. Right? We simplified the first fraction that we could. But not really a whole lot that we can do because the square root's kind of like trapped under the square root. The 24 is trapped underneath, but the 2 is on the outside. If they were both under the square root, all right, maybe I could do something with it. Or if they were both on the outside, then I could try to simplify that way. But that is great, just like that. But there is a little further that we can go if we stop. Now, this part, definitely optional. Simplifying those square roots by breaking them apart. And we did this before we went back to start reviewing. We learned how to simplify square roots, where we just break it into 2, right? Where the first one was that perfect square that went in perfect, right? The 1 from this list, well, 1 doesn't matter. So 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 4, all of those nice perfect squares. I really don't have to look bigger than 24, though. I want something that goes evenly. Is there a number on that list that goes into 24 really nicely? And if so, what's the biggest one? Too big, too big, too big. Does 16 go into 24? Like divide them now. About 9. Does 9 go into 24? About 4. Can you take 24, divide it by 4, and get an answer that's nice? 4 times 6. Which means I can simplify that square root of 2. Now, what's the point of that? Well, look at this. 24, nope. 2 root 6. So the 1 is just a 1, that's on its own. But look at this fraction. You got a 2 on top and a 2 on bottom. Later, get rid of them. Cancel them out if you want. 1 plus or minus root 6. And how much nicer is what's in red than what's in blue? How much? A little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit better. Numbers are smaller, non fractions. I like that. So stop at the purple if you want. Or do this. Simplify that square root and see where it gets you. Numbers on the outside. 2 divided by 2. Oh, and see you later. Cancel that. That's real nice. Okay, I'm not going to make you do that on this. But it does seem like a great bonus question. Hear the echo. Okay, that's how important it should ring in your head. There it is. Okay, if you want some extra points, know how to simplify square root. That will definitely be the in-class portion. And yes, I now have to write 4 different tests. Yay me. In class for you, in class for them. At home for you, at home for them. 4 to 2. But we've done all the review, so it shouldn't be too bad. Here we go. Last one, and then guess what? We're done. Questions on these first two at all? Folks at home, you're there. I hear you. I want to know. Let me know if you have questions. Let's do it. One more. Let's call it h of x. Let's get a different a value. Why not? Let's call it 2x squared plus 12x plus 3. That's be our last one. And then you put it up on canvas, squeeze 2.6a, and you're going to get a 24 to 24. It's going to help everybody. Why not? But this is like takes the place of you having to review. We're doing it right now. All right, so what should I do first? We've done a couple of them. A, B, C. Oh, good. A equals 2 this time. B equals 12. C equals 3. No negatives to worry about as part of our A's, B's, and C's. We'll get some negatives with the formula, but we'll just take care of that. Sweet, let's set it up. I like to just jump in. X equals, write the formula again and again and again and again if you want to, but write it once, that's enough for me. All right, on top of the first fraction is negative b. So what number should I put up there? Negative, so good. Opposite of b. What about on the bottom? 2 times a. So this time, for the first time, 2 times 2. Good, watch out for that. What goes in between my 2 fractions, if you're making 2? No, not yet. I need something in between. Plus or minus, good. Plus or minus. Big fraction bar, big square root if you like it. Now, b squared. All right, so 12. I like to put the parentheses, keeps things safe if I am going to let the calculator do the work. And then minus, and this is like one of the only numbers that's just part of it, right? It's just a 4, right? It's always 4. And like I said, I'll show you tomorrow, just for fun. 4 times a, so a is 2 times c. 4ac, c is 3. And I finally made my square root. There. Same denominator, 2 times 3. All right, first fraction, negative 12 over 2 times 2. Okay, cool, 4. Nice. I tried to pick nice numbers. I did. I think it worked out really nicely that today and tomorrow, no decimals anywhere. So if you're getting fractions that don't simplify nicely, obviously besides the square root ones, then something might be off a little bit. All right, I'm going to do it all in one shot. I'm going to jump in my calculator, and I'm going to type it in. 12 squared minus 4 times 3, 2 times 3. All in one shot. I'm going to let the calculator do the work. 120. Kind of a big b value there, which is why our number in size is kind of big. But I wanted to make sure things simplified nicely up front, so I had to pick big numbers. And then same denominator. All right, make it simple. What's that first fraction work out to be? Negative 12 divided by 4. Negative 3. Nice. Really nice that it worked out that way. Try it. Plug it in. See if it's nice, right? You got to get used to jumping into your calculator frequently and just trying this stuff out to see what works. If you are just waiting for me to do it, then 2 days from now, when you're in class having to do it and you don't know what buttons to press, you might not have enough time to get it done. You gotta familiarize yourself with where to find the square root of 120 and how to type that in correctly to see what happens. So, anybody, does it work?
No.
No, square root of 120 is not perfect. So if you want to, leave it. Just like that. Beautiful, done, I'm happy, it's correct. But for those of us that want an opportunity for a bonus, I think it's worthwhile to take a look to see if you can make it simple. But that's good. What's boxed in right now? -3 plus minus square root of 120 over 4. Done. Exactly perfect. Love it. You want a chance for some more points? Let's see what goes in nicely. So numbers like 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. Well, that's too big, right? We'll cut it off like that. In fact, really, it can't be more than half because it's got to be like something times 2 or something times 3 or something times 4. So cut it in half, that's 60. Really, I only need to look at those numbers up there. Those are all too big. 64 is too much because it's more than half. And you just try them. You don't have to know all your perfect factors of 120 off the top of your head, but you got to try it. 120 divided by 49. 120 divided by 36. I was one of the biggest ones, so I started the list at the top. The biggest ones. So I can stop. 49, 36, 25, 16, 9. I just plug them in and I see what works. Do any of them work? What number is the biggest in that list that goes in? Sucks. 49 doesn't work. 36, 25, none of those work, but 4 does. Well, let me ask you this. What's 4 into just 12? How many times? Okay. What do I have to do to turn 12 into 120? Just add a 0 on the end. Add a 0 on the end. Because now, okay, cool, 2 root 30. Now, it's not as nice as I wanted it to be, but it's still pretty good. 2 square root of 30 over 4. All right. Why do I like it? My numbers just got smaller, and I got a nice number up front instead of some nasty square root that I can try to do something with. Now, again, like way back here, like square root of 24 over 2, that's not the square root of 12 as badly as I want it to be. Number inside with a number outside, no good. It's got to be outside with outside or inside with inside if we want it to work out nicely, and now we've got it, right? 2/4. Simplify that fraction. What's the simplest version of 2/4? 1/2, okay. 1/2. And just bring the root 30 with you. Do I need a 1 out front in front of anything ever? There you go. Still fractions, not ideal, but hey, my numbers just got smaller. My denominator of 4 is now 2, and my square root is now 30 instead of 1. Love what's in red. Super happy with what's in purple. And so you can definitely get full credit by stopping right here and stopping right here. Yeah, but if you want that bonus, you can simplify. That'll be on the in-class one only. The stuff you'll do at home will just be get it done. Notes for sure. Calculators, absolutely. What you may see, and again, I haven't figured it out yet because this epiphany just struck my brain today that I wanted to do it this way. I'm going to write it all out tonight so you know what to expect. Because I know sometimes like the stress of tests is just not knowing what it's going to look like. Multiple choice, is a free response, I have to like write stuff out. What is it going to look like? So I will lay that all out for you tonight so you know what you need to do. And we're just going to go from there. So there may be some questions on the at-home stuff that you have to actually write some stuff out on a piece of paper. So you might see something that says like work required. Okay, that means I have to write them out. and just upload that to Canvas. There'll be a spot on Canvas for the test that you'll upload any work to that we have. But there you go, 1, 2, 3, done. Quiz 2.6a, done. Take a picture, put it up on Canvas. Magical 24 out of 24 for just keeping up with me today. And that's it. Tomorrow, or if you want, right now, 2.6b. 3 questions. Same kind of style. First one works out nice where you got to keep going. Second one, where A is 1 but doesn't work out nice. Third one, where A is not 1, doesn't work out nice. Just different numbers. And so get quiz 2.6a uploaded right now. Get it done right now so you don't forget. And you have a choice. Start 2.6b. Folks at home, you guys are good. You guys can head out. I will see you in class tomorrow. And we'll just knock out 2.6b in class. Or you can start it right now and then bring the rest to school. Or you can do it right now. And then tomorrow is super easy for you. We'll just recap and get you ready for the test. But you guys are free to go whenever you are good to go.
All right. Take it easy, Mr. B. Oh, my Lord. I just called you Mr. B.
I've gotten that more than once. You're good, brother.
I know who your favorite teachers are. It's okay.
Oh, no.
No.
You're the most OG teacher I've ever had. Freshman year, baby.
That's right.